So I'll start with sharing a win. I started this walking program this year where I'm trying to do 10,000 steps a day. I've never done that. It's really nice to get out in the morning and go walking around. So that's been good. Another win that I have is that I got this in the mail today or yesterday from Rocket Mortgage. And it says, Dave, stand out to sellers in the home buying process. Get one step closer to your next home with a verified approval. If you want a major edge in your home search, start by getting a verified approval letter from Rocket Mortgage. Unlike a pre-approval, blah, blah, blah. We're copying Zenith Home Loans, Zenith Certified Home Buyer Program with this. And so it's really nice when the biggest lender in the country is copying your marketing stuff. So that's good to know that we,
Sue them.
huh? Let's
Let's
sue them.
sue them.
That'd be funny. Let's call a lawyer. Hey, you can't do that. Anyway, so what else? I have a bunch of wins. And I'll talk about a couple of other things, but I'll let you. We'll jump over to Giuseppe. Go ahead, Giuseppe. What do you got?
Good morning, Laura.
Good
Nice
morning.
to meet you. I haven't met you yet. Obviously, you're a Rockies fan. Sorry. Um, my yeah, I forgot the layout of this, how it differs from our own pipeline meeting. We're doing gratitude and a win.
Just wins.
Okay, just a
Wins and
win.
numbers. If you
Okay,
got some
cool.
that you want to
So
share.
I'm just yeah, I mean, leads are picking up, right? I'm sure most people on the call have more leads so far this month and than they did last month. Um, for the full month. So that's good. Rates are staying stable, so that's good. And I'm implementing some new things due to coaching, client appreciation event, and some lunch and learns for realtors. So that's going well.
Right
Those are
on.
all wins.
Right on. You want to share any numbers? Or I know it's we get back into the cadence of this.
Yeah, let's see here.
Month to date, like lead counts, credit pulls,
Yeah, let me
and
go to the right dashboard. I think lead counts is 24, but I'm sure it's probably a little bit higher because I know some of these refis, right, we're not really like changing too much until they send a mortgage statement. Um, Sales dashboard, right? Okay, 1 second. Sorry,
yeah, you
everyone.
want to go to the sales dashboard.
Yeah, 24 credit pulls, 34, 12 pre-approvals,
Nice.
11 locks.
Nice. Very nice. Right on. Thanks, sir. Jay Mingler, what you got, buddy?
Hey, good morning. Hey, welcome to the team, Laura. So, big win. We started reconstruction on my basement. So that's a huge win to finally get that going. Dealing with insurance all during the holidays was not amazing, but I think
You had a water leak. This was a water leak, right?
yeah, like right after Thanksgiving. So, yeah, and it wasn't the nice kind of water leak either. So, so,
The sewer
so
kind.
uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. It was destroyed our entire basement.
Sounds
So
shitty.
yeah, exactly. Well played. So number wise, I think there's something going on. I might not have like set up my leads right. So I have two pre-approvals this week. I have one lock this week, and I had two closings this month. So yeah, that's all I'm showing right now.
Right on. Thanks, sir. Chris.
Hi, Laura. Nice to meet you. Actually, I had the pleasure of playing with Milan Hayduk, playing golf with him this past summer. He's a good dude. I saw your little mini jersey back there. Yeah, win. Broncos in the playoffs. Let's go. I'm going to the game on Saturday. Can't wait. What else? Yeah, best December since 2021, I'd guess. Yeah, probably. Best January since probably 2022 so far. And best start of the year since 2022, probably. So it's a good start to the year. Yeah, let's see. 10 leads, 18 credit pulls, I think when I have Annie build a file, I don't know if she clicks the right button, so I got to talk to her about that. Doesn't add up. 12 locks this month. I'm gonna have 7 or 8 closings. I already got 10 for next month. So yeah, a lot of I don't know, 7 pre-approvals this month. So it's a good start.
Right on.
Keep it up.
Right on. Great
And
job.
I'd like to
Ryan,
go back to doing like what did I learn too, Dave? Remember we used to do that?
we can
I
do
feel like
that.
that's really helpful for people to like just
Yeah, we can do that.
like, oh, I did this and got approved eligible. I don't know, stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Right on. We'll go back to the regular cadence. We'll get it going. Ryan, go ahead.
I've already met Laura, so I don't need to say hi, Laura. Let's see. When numbers wise, 9 leads, that's off by 1. I need to put a couple in there for refis, but yeah, so 9, 10, 11 leads, something like that. 10 credit pulls. I'll have 5 pre-approvals by the end of the day. With 27 total, 3 apps locked. Hopefully a couple more here by the end of the week. Win, got some good wins. I feel like I'm like naturally this time of year, I always pick up in realtor meetings, just trying to get together with everybody. But I'm pretty much booked through like beginning of February, almost every single day with a realtor meeting, realtor lunch. So that's good. And I'm hosting an appraiser on the hot seat class, and I've already got 20 signups. And one of them is from like a top like 10, 15 buy side agent in town that I've been trying to prospect, who I couldn't get to call me back, and finally she agreed to come to this, so I can get some face time with her.
I love that class. I love the idea of appraiser on the hot seat, especially with wonky valuations that we've seen coming in where, people, there's been reductions, right? So that's a great idea. And I bet you realtors would love to know more about how to fix that. So right on. Right on. I'll go to you last, Laura. Casey, go ahead.
I'm just going to steal Dave's win for the next 50 some weeks of the year. I'm up to 120 push-ups on the year.
120 today. If you did 120 total.
120 total. But no, I think the real win, celebrated my oldest daughter's 8th birthday yesterday. So we had a really nice birthday dinner for her. So we've kept her alive and healthy for 8 years. I'd consider that a pretty good win. I don't know specifically. My refi numbers are not pulling through as leads properly. So just purchase leads is 3 new locks. And should have 2 more. Not should have 2 more. We'll have 2 more as soon as the final pricing comes in this morning.
Right on. All right. Well, Laura, maybe tell us a little bit more about yourself and welcome to the group. It's great to have you here. Actually, let me hit Jacqueline's wins real quick. Sorry to cut you off. Jacqueline's, she's going to be on the call here in a few more minutes, but her win was a networking event this week with 12 people in attendance at Pearl Street. Lunch with a realtor partner that has a team of 5 and 2 new contracts for the week. She's got 8 leads, 6 credits, 1 new pre-approval, and she hasn't locked anything yet, but she has 3 locks coming in today. Our lock count for the month so far has been really solid for January. Normally January, you just expect, not robust activity, and we're tracking it an average of 2 locks a day for every calendar day we've been open. And we really have only been open a week and a half. So the first 5 days of January were, the first 4 days of January were like not even working. So there you go. All right, Laura, go ahead.
Well, hi, everybody. My biggest win was starting with Zenith. So I think that covers me pretty good. I've got so far 4 people in. One is refi that's locked and already in process and ready to go. And I've been working on getting 1 new every day, which has worked out very well. But as far as my background, I'm celebrating my 36th year in the mortgage business. I've been doing it since I was 12. All in Denver. I grew up in Colorado Springs. I moved to Denver in 91. I spent the first 10 years or so in ops, processing and underwriting and closing and funding and doing all that stuff. I really wanted to get a good grip on how to do loans before I decided to come to the dark side and and originate. So I am a diehard Avalanche fan. Have had season tickets for about 20 years now. I do some side work and fundraising for Dog Nation. And no kids, no pets. Pretty simple. But yeah, super excited to be here. And, if, I've been a part, I worked with Kara before. We were at a previous company. So she's the one that brought me basically to Zenith and introduced me to Dave. So I'm very excited to be back with her and Araceli. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
Right on. Well, we're great to have you, especially your experience. I know you have really strong government experience, bond loan experience as well. So there's like a good resource here if you run into a snag you'd have never seen before. Maybe run it by Laura on government stuff. Not that, she was hired for that, but we like to help each other out. So
Always happy to help.
Cool. What's that?
Always happy to help.
Right on. Thank you. Well, and that's the right attitude. So I'm going to switch gears here a little bit. I
have one win. Sorry, on that note.
Go ahead.
Our last VA or FHA manual is closing today.
That's it. All the other FHA loans are now through HUD. So we've gotten everything approved and purchased and endorsed. So after this loan closes and HUD signs off on it, we will be officially FHA approved. So that's a big milestone for us. I'm really excited about that.
So are we going to be able to do half FHA
like a 15% down
too?
FHA loan, so it should be good, Dave.
One at a time.
All right.
Sorry. I said, so are we going to be able to do Chaffa FHA loans in house? Nice.
Yes.
So the only Chaffa loan we can do now is just Fannie in house. Every other one we can do in house.
No,
Sorry.
Freddie.
You can't do Freddie.
Freddie.
Yeah, Chaffa, Freddie.
Nice. All right, cool. That's great.
Yeah. So the Chaffa FHA that'll be a huge win for us. We've lost money. We've had to lose money on every one of those loans since we started doing them through PRMG. We just had no choice. It's not that we do a lot of them, but we lose money every time we close one. It's a recipe for disaster. So it'd be nice to have it. It's just what PRMG wants to charge you, and there's no revenue in these. There's hardly any, not hardly any revenue. There's 2.5 points in those loans, and they want 1.5 points to originate it, and I'm paying you 1 point or more. So it's like, there's no money. So anyway, it'd be good to have, once we get that FHA thing, it'll be nice to have that behind us. So that's the next step. And then we'll start looking. We've got some more work to do before we start digging into getting our Fannie and Freddie approvals, but we got a lot of other things on our agenda to do. So switching gears here a little bit. So I've been reading, I'm not a big, Bible guy, but I read Proverbs every day. I read a chapter of Proverbs every day. Whatever day of the month it is the chapter in Proverbs I read. There's 31 chapters in Proverbs and so much wisdom in it. And that's the whole point of it. And I read a book, God, must have been like 2008 or 9. And it was this guy that was the advice. And the book was read a chapter of Proverbs every day. You'll have all the wisdom and knowledge that you'd ever want to create in your life. And there's so many cool lessons that you read. And I've been doing it every day for years now. So it's hard for me to keep track. And they become, so I try really hard to pick something out. And today I thought I would share a couple of things that I think really can show up in our business. I'm not calling anybody out here. I guess I'm calling all of us out because we all can have a tendency to overreact negatively to situations that present themselves to us. And so the first chapter, so it's, chapter 15, verse 1, a gentle answer turns away wrath, but a harsh word stirs up anger. So when you think about the way you respond to situations that come your way, and your first reaction is, this is bullshit, and you react that way, especially on a keyboard, and even worse on a phone call, then, a gentle word turns away wrath, a harsh word stirs up anger. You just make it harder to deal with. You make it harder for everybody to help, and you make it worse for yourself because you're in that frame of mind. Nothing ever gets solved rationally with anger. So just a great reminder. And then the next one is, all the days of the oppressed are wretched, but the cheerful heart has a continual feast. So say that again. All the days of the oppressed are wretched, but the cheerful heart has a continual feast. This ties in really well with, so I was on a coaching call with Amir a few weeks ago, and he talked about how easy it is for us to stay focused on the things that are not going well. And we focus so much of our time and energy on what's not working. And he referenced the book The Gap and the Gain. If you haven't read it, it's by Dr. Benjamin Hardy. It was co-written with Dan Sullivan, the founder of Strategic Coach, which is this really successful executive coaching program. I was in it in the mid 2000s. Tom Ward got me into it. And but the idea between the gap and the gain is, where do you spend your life and where does you spend your focus? Do you focus on the things you lack, or do you focus on all the gain that you've had in your life? The gap is where you live when you're negative. You're focusing on the things you don't have that you think you need, that creates that negative emotion in you. And when you focus on the gain, you focus on all the things that are good in your life. Even when something bad is happening, your goal when something bad is happening is to try to figure out the good that's associated with it. So, in its simplest form, when something goes wonky on a loan file for you, instead of spending, you can spend, nobody's going to ever not be in the gap sometimes, because there's just too many things that come our way. So it isn't to say that I'm never going to be in the gap. The goal is I want to be in the gap in the shortest amount of time possible so that I can focus on the gain. So when something negative happens, the first thing is like, well, what can I learn from this and how can I improve? Like, what can I do better? And to keep this from happening ever again. So that idea of the gap and the gain is so powerful. So I've been listening to the book on audio, especially when I've been doing these morning walks. I listened to that podcast you sent over today, Giuseppe, for the first 20 minutes, and then I switched over. But he references in the book that the Strategic Coach, there's a free app on the app stores that you can get called Win Streak, WIN Streak, and it's, the idea here is to track every day, measure your wins, right? Like that's how you stay focused on the gains, is to track your wins every day. So every day, I started doing this a few days ago. I missed a day. So I had 5 days in a row and then I missed a day. So I'm starting over. Last night I did it. At the end of every day, you write down, you just type in 3 wins on this app. And what's amazing, and I was sharing this, I've been talking to Ryan about this because Ryan and I see each other more than any other loan officers I see here, because he's here the most. And we talk a lot about this stuff, is how easy it is to be negative because you don't spend time focused on the positive things that are going on. And so these wins have really helped me turn around my attitude. I just feel better. I'm in a better mood. I'm more optimistic because every day I can track a win, and it doesn't matter how big a win it is. Like the win is a win. So I got up when I wanted to today. I did my workout. I walked. That's a win, because that's a huge win, right? The other day, Laura came into the office. An insurance agent brought her by a thing of cookies, and this is how the gap works. She asked me if I wanted a cookie, and I said, no, I'm kind of doing a no sugar thing. I've been going for about a week. And she goes, that's awesome. And I go, well, it's only been a week. And she goes, don't do that. And so I did it right there. That's the gap. It's like, well, it's only been a week. So I discounted a win when I really should be like, way to go, man. I did another day without sugar. I'm on a week now. So it's just an interesting thought. I would highly recommend. I know that we talk about read this book, read that book. There's so many things that you can do, and there's so many things coming at us, but I think my focus, one of the things I'm most passionate about in this industry, is personal development and how important mindset management is to that in your life. And that this idea of, I guess that's why I'm so attracted to this book and what I'm getting a lot out of it. So I would really recommend it, just downloading it and listening to it, or buying the book and just getting into this habit and maybe sharing it. Because what I want to do is I want to share this idea with the operations team as well, because I think if you work in an operations department, you spend a lot of time in the gap, right? Because I'll give you an example. Chris has a refinance that was supposed to close. I don't know what's going on with this loan. The customer was supposed to pay their payment, and it looked like they maybe didn't pay their payment. And so this is going on right now. I was walking through the operations department. Kelly was or Heidi was standing over talking to Kelly, and she's like, I don't want to tell Chris about this. And Kelly goes like, well, I don't want to tell Chris. And I go, you don't want to tell Chris what? She's like, well, we got this payoff statement from this customer and it doesn't, and they were supposed to close today, but it doesn't look like they made they haven't made their December payment, not the January payment. And I was like, the customer hasn't made their December payment? So she says, yeah. And I go, why are you afraid to tell Chris that? She goes, well, he's going to be mad. I was like, well, wait, you weren't supposed to make the payment, were you? And she goes, no. And I go, was Chris supposed to make the payment? She goes, no. And I go, well, why is he going to be mad at you? I go, the customer fucked up. I don't know if maybe Chris didn't tell the customer, but this isn't your fault or your problem. And you certainly don't have anything to worry about. And so think about where they live. Think about where the operation seems like going, oh, I don't want to tell the loan officer something bad. It's like, well, if you caused it, that's different, right? That's when you call them up and you go like, hey man, I screwed up. I made this mistake. Here's what I'm going to do. I go, if you have to deliver bad news to a loan officer, have empathy, of course. Go, Chris, dude, I hate making this call, but your customer doesn't look like, I go, you can do that, but you don't have to be afraid to tell him, like, you're just delivering the news. It's not good news. It's not bad news. It's just the news. We need to fix this. Find out what your customer did. Like, this is a problem to be solved, but certainly not. But think about how, so that's why I want to share it with the operations team. I think they spend their life in the gap. They're constantly worried about everything. And I think that maybe the sales teams in this industry have a tendency to create that for them.
I was
We
going to
certainly
say, is
don't
that our
want-
fault?
Yeah.
I was like, do we cause that?
I think we probably had something to do with it. Yeah, I would say that that's probably fairly accurate, but because they're on the receiving end, right? Like they know that they're like, oh, I don't want to make these guys mad. And they know that you're the source of their job, right? At the end of the day, they know that. They're not like, we don't have to tell them that because they know, right? They know like going, well, if these guys don't get loans and if they don't get a loan, they're mad at me. And I know the risks are higher for you and everything else, but nobody does this job alone. And so it's important to know that you've got teammates that you can help and support. So just keep that stuff in mind. Any feedback or any response to any of that?
I was just going to say on the gratitude thing. So for me personally, I'm trying to like, get myself away from the phone, especially at nighttime when I'm around the kids and stuff. So I've just been doing like a regular journal and
Right on.
writing it down in the morning, what my gratitude is. And that seems to do. I just don't want to go find my phone and then get sucked into it.
I'm updating the wins during the day. Like I'll do it. Like I already updated the win for today. Is like, okay, I got up, I did my workout and I got my walk in. That's my first win. So anyway, but yeah, good point. That stay away from the phone as much as possible late at night.
Yeah, I completely deleted Instagram because I was doing the same thing. I was just like find myself like scrolling. I'm like, there's literally no benefit to what I'm. And I like, then you feel dumber. Stupider, whatever the word is. So I don't use it for work. I just never have. I never probably will. Like for marketing, that's just not me. So I just deleted it. Feels great.
I say probably for like $1 million.
I'd have to say the post-mortem whatever calls, that was actually a really good experience. I don't know about you guys, but I found myself being like like everyone took ownership, like Nicole, and like there was a couple, we had a lot of closings in December. And so for Nicole and Nate was like their first, especially Nicole, she's kind of a newer processor. It was her first like big month. And they all closed and everything was fine, but there was some like things that could have done better. But there was a few times where I was like, yep, that was my fault. And it was like kind of refreshing to like, and Nicole would be like, oh, that was my fault. It was just, and Annie would be like, that was my fault. So it's good to have that and like just move forward and learn. So.
Well, it's a cycle. What we're instituting now, remember I sent out actually it was back in March or April, that Graham Weaver article on the lean manufacturing process and how you how you create an environment of continuous improvement. So Laura, thank you for the idea that you gave to Kara about doing these postmortems. It's definitely a cycle that we need to adopt as a company because it's how you get better is like, okay, so how can we do better? Like what happened on this one? Okay, so how do we fix, let's make sure and let's change the strategy. Let's change the way we do that so that you create the better outcome. So it's really, I think it's super positive. I'm really, really glad and really optimistic that you started that program.
Hey, Dave, one
Yes.
thing on the gratitude, I started about a year and a half ago. I have sticky notes that are different colors. So I have a yellow and I have a hot pink. And every day I write down both wins and losses and I put them in a clear vase. And so for me, I'm a very visual person. And so as the days and months go on, visually being able to see what is always turned out to be more wins than losses, because like you said, just getting up, getting for a walk, that's a win. And then what I do in January is I go through and I reread them all. And so for me, it's a good refresher of, yeah, I really do have a lot more wins than losses are. But for me, it was important to have that the
I love that idea.
visualization
That's a cool
in
idea.
front of me all the time. So
That's a
anyway,
cool idea. I like
one
that.
more way in addition to your phone or journaling or anything else.
Right. Right. Well, and what they talk about if you listen to the book, he talks about there's a compound effect to this. So the longer you do this, the better you feel, right? It just keeps getting better. Not like the first time you write down 3 wins, I didn't feel a lot better the next day. Second time, third day, but like the fourth or fifth day, I was like, man, I'm in a better mood. Why? I feel lighter. Like this is weird. And so it's just because it starts to permeate. Our thinking is so powerful, and what we think about, we bring about. Where, energy goes where our focus goes where our energy is. Like that, it's just what we focus on expands. So I think it's so easy. And we work in a business that's a tough business, right? So but you can decide if it's going to be tough for you or just tough because there's great opportunities and there's a lot of people that want to be in this business. So when you have an abundance mindset or a scarcity mindset, I really believe that. The other thing that they're really big on, which I really think is important in our industry, is the comparison trap, where you're constantly comparing yourself. How did Giuseppe do today? How did Chris do today? How did Ryan do today? How did Jacqueline do today? Like, if you're doing that, you're really not. First of all, you should be really happy because we're compete. There's 9 loan officers here, right? There's like 9,000 in Denver. That's who you're competing with. You're not competing with these guys. So you should be, first of all, be really happy for everybody else's success, no matter who it is, because there's more loans than any of us can do, right? So it's really just. I think there's a big mindset shift that has to happen in our industry. We spend too much time and energy focused on being a good loan officer, and we measure that in our ability. Yes, you have to be a great loan officer in terms of giving advice and structure and lead conversion and developing rapport and all of that stuff. But your first job has always been marketing and lead generation, first and foremost. And if you don't think that, you're going to struggle. You just are. It's always going to be tough because you're not going to have enough leads. If you have more quality leads than you can follow up with, you get the best leads. You cherry pick the leads. You work with the ones. You don't worry about the ones that aren't going to use you. But if you can't do that, if you're only getting a couple leads. And so you think about that every day and like, okay, so what am I doing? You all have a production goal for this year, and you know what your conversion rates were last year. You have a lead to closing conversion rate. That's how many leads you need to just divide your goal for production, divided by the number of, by your conversion rate. That's how many leads you need. And then break it down to a weekly number and a daily number. And that's it. Because without that, you're like, you can be the best mortgage coach presenter on the planet, but if you don't have anybody to present it to, it doesn't matter. Right. So anyway, I don't know why I got off on that tangent, but you're in the lead generation business first. And so I know Giuseppe's got a really good, why don't you share that? You share what your plan is this year. I know you had some ideas about how many events for realtors you're doing and how many you're doing a client appreciation event. Why don't you share that?
Sure. So in Go coaching, I've just always noticed in coaching, I've never done a client appreciation event. And part of that was because, like, how do you even figure out who to invite, right? If I invite all my close clients, it's like 4,000 names. Are 20 people going to show up or 3,000 people going to show up? How do you even plan for that? So Jack, I think at some point, had mentioned, or I heard it somewhere, maybe Denise Donahue, but about segmenting your database. And so last year, since I know I'm not the only person, to say this, but when the data was transferred over, right, there was a bunch of snafus, so like a lot of duplicate records. So since basically January of last year to January this year, every day when I called my birthdays, I would also clean up all the duplicate files, and I would classify all the closed loans A, B, or C based on just how many transactions they closed. So let's say A is like three or more loans. And so now, after a year, I have a list of like, 100 something A's and a lot of B's and a lot of C's. And so now I can do a better job of like doing, a happy hour client appreciation event and just invite my A's, right? So I know I'm going to get probably 30 to 50 people there, something like that, I'm hoping. And it's more manageable and easier to plan. So I'm planning on doing 2 of those a year. And then I'm planning on doing, well, the goal was 6 lunch and learns, but my first one for next week filled up so quick that I'm doing the same exact one in February. So might end up being 12 lunch and learns. I'm not sure, but just doing them in our office.
And what's the
'Cause,
lunch and learn topic this one?
these 2 are non-QM loans.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. Great.
Did you
So
know
that's
they were
great.
8% of the market last year?
Right. Yeah, it's
Well,
more
and
than
I did like 5, I think, or 6, and all of them were loans that before I was not lazy enough to look into non-QM, I just would have been like, yeah, I can't get you a loan. Sorry. And
right.
they all did a loan. How about that? And we made money on it.
How it works. Any other marketing that people want to share that they're doing this year? Ryan, I know that you've got a cool agenda that you're rolling out. Share that.
So my goal for realtor events is one a month. My cadence is gonna be lunch and learn, mastermind, either webinar or lunch and learn for that third month. But I've found that masterminds are money for those that haven't done them. The lunch and learns are great. Invite a lot of people. The masterminds are like, that's where I can tell you kind of how I structure that if you guys want to chat about that. But that's my goal there.
Yeah, what exactly, like 1 minute, what do you do?
Mastermind?
Yeah.
Don't make it more than like 10. Go to 6 to 10.
People?
Yeah, 6 to 10 people. Make it a mix of realtors that you work with, and then you maybe aren't working with, want to work with, but like relatively decent producers. Like nobody can be new for the most part. Like you got to have people that can go, because like if you have somebody that's like too new, you're gonna have somebody that just sits there the whole time, and you want to have enough people like that are all kind of chiming in. And then I'll send out a Google form a week ahead of time that's like ask a few questions. Hey, what's something you're struggling with in the market? What do you want to get out of this mastermind? Let me know anything else, and then I'll ask them like, "What's your favorite drink?" And I'll go buy everyone's favorite drink and like make it personable, so they all have their favorite drink on there. And then I will set the topics, so I'll do like a little topic sheet, put it on there, and I'll just kind of be the mediator through it all. And so we'll have 2 or 3 topics, and then let the last 30 minutes to just be like, "Hey, we want to expand on X topic," or just talk. And it's been a really cool way for people to get to know each other and just kind of like have my group of realtors and the people I'm trying to prospect, ideally just know who I am, and like the people that I really work with. It's fun because then they'll just like tell others how great I am, right? So it does a lot.
You've always had a really good turnout in those events, and then everybody's super engaged. You've done a really good job based on what I've seen. So
Thank you.
good job. Jacqueline, you do this, you're doing regular, looks like you got into some kind of a regular networking cadence now in the Pearl Street office. Share that.
So one of my title rep, and I started a group, that's geared towards, female business owners and entrepreneurs in the real estate world. So we're calling it, it's called Beyond the Closing. And then we're targeting people who are in real estate and real estate adjacent industries. And so every other month we have a little networking event with a keynote speaker. And then on the off months, we'll do something a little bit smaller, a little bit more intimate, maybe like similar to the mastermind thing that Ryan's describing, but we're going into some kind of a small business in the area and doing an event there. So like one of the ideas is to go into there's a flower shop on Pearl Street that does like flower arrangement classes. So using it as like a team building kind of conversation. We're supporting a local women-owned business, and then we're having some kind of a mastermind topic during the conversation. Makes it a little bit easier to have those conversations because those get kind of boiled down to only about 6 people in the room. So that's kind of where we're heading. So right now we're just focusing on getting the cadence set up and all of our keynotes scheduled through the rest of the year. But they've been about 12 to 15 people at each event so far, so they've been really good.
I have a smart ass thing to say. So, like, if you're a guy, you could just do a men-owned business networking event. And
Well, that
not
would be
have-
all of the businesses in this country, so that's
I just think that's funny. It's like, we're doing men only.
I mean, honestly,
get in trouble if you
being
tried to-
transparent, I don't like doing networking events with men, especially if there's alcohol. And that's something I learned very early in my career. So that's kind of why I've pivoted from that.
I get you. I just think it's funny. Like if a guy tried to do a men only event, they'd get all kinds of shit for it. But women can
No,
do it.
because
It's okay.
isn't there the what's that? There's some nonprofit that does that, isn't there?
Yeah.
Guys who give that one.
Yeah. So you already do it. Also, that shit's been around for a long time. Just look at country clubs, golf places.
Yeah, look at Hobber's Country Club.
What?
Yeah, go read the reviews.
Dude, dating.
I mean, if this is the conversation you want to have today on the Coffee for Closers call, we can. There's
Women
only 2
only.
female, and I bet you
got my
Laura's that might
coffee
be on my
right
side on
here.
some of this
I'll
shit.
just sit back and relax.
Girl power, baby.
I mean, I've been the only female on the sales team for a hot minute, kids.
Oh, relax.
Jen
There's
was
been
on here.
women on here.
She goes.
She had a realtor appointment.
Oh, she was like on the first like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's got coffee.
Hey, man. Whatever you want to do it.
Well, like I said, go back to focusing on this. You're a marketer and a lead generator first. You're not a loan officer first. You got to be, obviously you have to be a good loan officer if you want to excel in this business. But if you don't adopt that mindset, you're just always going to struggle. And I just think it's a nice reminder of, and if you don't have that front and center mindset, that's what I'll leave you with today. What's your front and center? What is your goal count that you have to hit on a daily basis to reach your target for the year? It's just that simple. Because if you're at noon and you haven't gotten a lead to you, I was like, you pick up the phone. You need to make some calls. You just really, we all know what we have to do. It's more face to face, more voice to voice. It's more relationships. It's more meetings. It's more break breads. It's just more. And you don't want to take a shotgun approach, obviously, but a shotgun approach is better than nothing. You want to have a well thought out plan. I like that some of the stuff that I've heard from people that you're doing. Ryan's getting ready to start a program where you're inviting realtors into a one-on-one that he's not met with before. So he's got a nice plan. It's really staying focused on how do I generate the leads I need to hit the numbers I need to hit. So that's just what it comes down to. I don't have anything else to cover today. So thanks again for jumping on. It was nice to get everybody back in the room like this. I will add some more clarity very shortly as to how we're going to cadence this out or plan this out, the schedule. Just, we want to finish the Mojo training. There's only about 4 or 5 more sessions, and then we'll get back on this regular schedule again and get some more clarity around when we're going to have operations join and share some of the things that are there to be shared. So that's it, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your day, and let's have a great one. Let's make it a great day. I can tell it's going to be a great day for everybody. I can tell. Have an awesome day, man.
Go Broncos!